Hello everyone, this is Stephen Balch, your instructor for Introduction to Macroeconomics at Ozarka College. Today what I'd like to do is give you just kind of a basic introduction to this course and kind of go over the high points of the course syllabus with you. And so let's kind of get started here. When you first click on the link for this course in my Ozarka, you're going to see this introductory page for the course that shows the course information at the top of the page there. It has a picture of me as the instructor. And then right below that, you'll see an announcement section. And as we go through the semester, it's always important to kind of read. Make sure you kind of pay attention to the announcements as I post them as we go through the semester. You'll notice I've already posted kind of a welcome message there for you that has some information that you'll need to kind of read through this first week of class. I've also included my contact policy for the class. And probably the best way to contact me for most of you, that especially if you're on another campus that's kind of far away from my office in Mountain View, is to use course mail over here on the left-hand side. On the left-hand side of the course page, there are links that allow you to navigate to various parts of the course page. And you'll use that course mail link there to send me a question or any kind of information that you need to share with me during this semester. That'll be the most efficient way of sending me a message and me getting back to you in a timely manner. I also have a general Ozarka email address, but the problem with sending a message through that is I won't know exactly what course it pertains to, or what it may not even have your name as a student there. And so the best way to make it an efficient way of communicating during the course of the semester is to use course mail. That way, when I get your message, I'll know exactly what class it pertains to and what your name is and so forth. When you do send me messages during this semester, make sure you're very specific, especially if you're asking questions. Be very specific on, whatever problem you're having that you're asking questions about, or whatever your specific question is. Just make sure you're very specific, and that way I'm able to get your question answered in a more timely manner. All right? So that's basically the first page. Now, one of the main items I want to show you today and go over with you is the course syllabus. So you'll notice there's a syllabus link there on the navigation pane. So I'm going to click on syllabus. And this course syllabus is a document that kind of shows the guidelines that we're going to follow during the course of this semester. It has the expectations for you as a student and also for me as an instructor in the class. So we're going to kind of hit the high points of it today, but you'll need to take some time this first week of class to carefully read through each section of this syllabus and let me know if you have questions as soon as possible. All right? It's important for us to kind of be on the same page with what the expectations are for the class, and this is the syllabus is what outlines those expectations. Okay? So, at the very top of the syllabus, it shows information about this course. Right below that, it shows information about me as the instructor, my contact information, my office hours, and so forth. Again, probably the best way to contact me if you're not on the Mountain View campus is to use course mail. Like I said it earlier, if you are close to the Mountain View campus and you want to come by and see me during my office hours, feel free to do so. I'll welcome you and be glad to talk with you. But for most of you, course mail is probably going to be the most effective way of communicating with me during the course of this semester. Now, some of you know me from other classes that you've taken with me in the past, but some of you don't. So let me give you a kind of a short introduction or some information about myself. Again, my name is Stephen Baltz. I've taught here at Ozarka College for about 26 years, and I've taught this particular macroeconomics course for several years during those 26 years, so I'm very familiar with the course and what the outcomes are and the expectations and so forth. And I really enjoy teaching this class, and I hope that you'll enjoy it as well. I think you will as we go through, and especially the online discussions that we have, and the concepts that we're learning about. They're all very relevant concepts that you hear a lot about on the news, like inflation and tariffs and things like that, unemployment and economic growth like GDP. So we're going to learn about a lot of those topics that you hear about on the financial part of the news. All right. And my office is on the Mountain View campus. I live here in Mountain View, like I said earlier. So, and you'll learn a little bit more about me as we go through the semester, and especially as we do the Introduce Yourself discussion. I've included some more specific information about myself there, and I'll explain more about that in a minute. But basically, just kind of look through that top portion there of the syllabus. Let me know if you have questions. Now, the next three parts of the course syllabus, the course description, rationale, and outcomes, are all closely tied together. So I'm going to kind of talk about these all at one time just to save some time. Basically, in this class, the first few chapters, we'll learn about basic economic concepts and basic economic models like scarcity, opportunity cost, efficiency, scarcity. We'll learn about supply and demand. And then after we learn the basic economic concepts, we'll then branch off into macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is the study of the economy with an overall view of the economy, the big picture of the economy. So we're not looking at individual markets like we do in microeconomics. Instead, in this class, we're going to look at overall decisions that are made specifically by governments to affect the overall economy. And so we're going to look at topics like gross domestic product, or GDP, which is a way that we measure economic activity, economic growth. We'll also look at things like unemployment, inflation, interest rates, fiscal and monetary policy, which are basic policies that the government uses to manage the economy. Okay, so those are topics that we'll learn about in this course. So we're looking at aggregate values when we look at macroeconomics. Instead of looking at individual markets like the automobile market or the computer market, we're looking at all of those together at one time. All right? Now, so just kind of look through the course description, rationale, and outcomes. Let me know if you have any questions. But the basic economic problem that any economics course is basically the study of is what we're trying to do is study the basic economic problem of scarcity and unlimited wants. Okay, because resources are scarce, and we're using those scarce resources to try to satisfy as many of our unlimited wants as we can, we have to make decisions on how best to use our resources to get as many of those unlimited wants satisfied as possible. And that's what we're studying in economics, is how those decisions are made on how best to use our scarce resources. Okay? All right. So just kind of look through those first three items there. Let me know if you have questions. The next item on the syllabus is the textbook information. And this is what the textbook looks like right here. There's also a little picture there of it, icon picture of it on the syllabus. But basically it's called Macroecon 7. So the 7 stands for the 7th edition of the book. And just make sure that when you go to purchase your textbook, whether it's at the college bookstore or some other source, make sure you're checking this ISBN number right here and verifying that you're getting the correct textbook, because there are different editions, there are different versions of this book. So make sure that you verify that with the ISBN number, make sure you're verifying that you're getting the correct textbook for the class. In addition to the textbook, since this is an online class, obviously you're going to need a reliable computer and internet connection. Okay? So just let me know if you have questions about the required materials for the class. All right, next item on the syllabus is methods of instruction. I'm just going to let you read through that to save some time. Just read through that. It's basic methods of instruction that you're going to see for most concepts classes. So just read through that. Let me know if you have questions. All right. Probably one of the most important parts of the course syllabus is the evaluation procedure section. This is the section that is going to tell you how your grade's going to be determined in this class. And I know when I was a college student many years ago, this is always the main thing I wanted to know about that first day of class when the professor was covering the course syllabus with us. So make sure that you carefully read through this evaluation procedure section, because this is really kind of the heart of the course syllabus, where all the basic information about how your grade's going to be determined in this class is in this section. Now, in this class, we're basically going to have 5 things that are going to determine the grade. We're going to have assignments, discussions, chapter test, a midterm exam, and a final exam. And I'm going to let you spend some time this first week of class carefully reading through the explanation for each one of these. I'm not going to go over it with you here. It's pretty well self-explanatory, so I'm just going to let you read through it and let me know if you have questions, okay? The other item under evaluation procedures that I'd like you to look at is the AI use policy, or artificial intelligence use policy, which is at the bottom of this evaluation procedure section. Here, what I've done is I've explained the policy for this class as far as using AI. And just in general, I encourage you to use AI for learning purposes, to learn more about the concepts that are presented in the course. But you need to make sure you're using it in an ethical way. Make sure you're using the AI to learn about the concepts, but you still need to put the information into your own words when you're submitting your assignments. So make sure you're not just taking what AI gives you as an answer and plugging it in on your activities for this class. Make sure you're putting the information into your own words. And it is a violation of the academic integrity policy, which I'll explain in just a minute. There's a section on that specifically on this syllabus. But it is a violation if you use AI in an unethical way. In other words, you're using it just to do the work for you for this class and not putting the information into your own words. All right? So just kind of be careful with that. All right. And let me know if you have questions. The next item on the syllabus is the grading scale. That's the standard grading scale that you see in most classes. So I'm not going to go over that with you. Just read through it. Let me know if you have questions. Next item is makeup policy. Just in general, I do not allow makeup work in this class. The basic idea behind that is that I'm giving you plenty of time to get each set of activities submitted. And so I don't feel like I should have to extend due dates and so forth for you. But if you have a special circumstance that you think I should look at, if you have something that some reason that you weren't able to get a particular set of activities submitted on time that you think I should consider, just send me a course mail. Be very specific on what is going on, and I will get back to you as soon as possible, and I will look at those things on an individual basis, okay? But just in general, I do not allow makeup work in this class, so just kind of keep that in mind. Next item is attendance policy. Of course, we're not in a traditional class. This is an online class, but you still need to attend in the sense that you need to be accessing the course page in Miles Arca on a regular basis. my general guideline here that I always like to tell students is I would like you to access the course page at least once a day, just to make sure that you're staying on track, that you're reminding yourself of things that are coming up due, and so forth, and that you're getting the information from the announcements and the course mail that I'm sending out to everyone during the course of the semester. Okay? All right. Next item is academic integrity, and I kind of hit on this a little bit earlier, but basically what this comes down to is you want to make sure you're doing your own work in this course. Anything that you submit for a grade in this course, any activity, whether it's an assignment, discussion, a test, whatever it is, make sure it's your own words, that it's your own work, okay? If you have questions about that, just let me know. Now, the last few items on the course syllabus are things that are they going to be the same for all the courses that you are taking this semester, so I'm not going to spend time going over each one of those, but just make sure you read through those and let me know if you have questions, okay? So that's the course syllabus. Again, make sure you spend some time this first week of class reading through that and let me know if you have any questions. All right. Now, one of the main pages that you'll use during this semester is the activities page. And there's a link to that on the navigation pane on the left-hand side of the page. Let's click on activities. And this activities page just divides the semester into weeks. So you'll notice it starts off with week 1, which is this week. And then it goes all the way to the very end of the semester where we'll do our final exam during week 17. So everything is divided into weeks. Now, there won't always be activities due every week. There will be activities due most of the weeks during this semester, but in some cases, I give you more than a week to get a particular set of activities completed. So there will be some weeks that there may not be anything due. Now, you'll notice there's an open and close date for each of the activities here. The open date is just the date that it is available for you to look at. The close date is basically the due date for that activity, okay? That's when you need to have it submitted. All right, now, this first week, there are really only 2 items. There's a getting started activity. Let's go ahead and click on that. What this is this is a place that I've basically just provided for convenience purposes links to the things that you need to look at this first week of the semester, like the course syllabus that we just looked at and the textbook information. Also, I've included a printable schedule that has all the activities and the due dates from the activities page just in a Word document that you can print out and put with your textbook and mark off the activities as you do them. I know some students like to have a printable version of that, so that's why I provide that more as a convenience than anything else. You don't have to use that. You can just look at the activities page, but if you do want something that you can print out and mark off the activities as you do them, that's a place where you can get that schedule link there. So this getting started activity, there's nothing to turn in for that, but again, you still need to make sure you're looking through those items there, especially the course syllabus, and let me know if you have any questions. All right, the only item that you're actually going to be submitting this first week of class is the introduce yourself discussion here. What I've done here, and some of you have already replied to this, and that's great, and I've already kind of been replying this morning to that, but basically what this is a place where we can kind of get to know each other a little bit better, because we will have discussions related to the concepts presented in the course as we go through the semester. And so this is just a way for us to kind of get to know each other a little bit, even though we're not meeting in a classroom. This is just kind of a way for us to kind of get to know each other a little bit, and so that we can have more productive discussions as we go through the semester. And as you reply to this as a student, I will reply to your reply, and then I will also share some more information about myself as we go through this discussion this first week of class. So that's the only thing that's due this first week. Let's go back to activities here. The first set of chapter activities from the textbook are due Tuesday of next week, January 20th. So you notice there's chapters 1 and 2 assignment, test, and discussion, all due by Tuesday, January 20th. That case studies activity is just something you'll read for the discussion. Okay? So you'll have 3 basic things that are due from the textbook Tuesday of next week. That assignment, test, and discussion. And when you click on each one of those activities, it will show you the instructions for that particular activity and what you need to read through and watch as far as videos go, and what sources you need to look at and read through, and what you need to do to complete that activity and submit that activity. So you want to make sure you get your textbook as soon as possible so that you can go ahead and start working on these first set of activities that are due next week. All right? And that's really all I have for you for this first video. I will be doing other videos as we go through the semester. If nothing else, just to kind of give you feedback on some of the assignments and discussions and so forth. But I'm really looking forward to this semester, and I'm really looking forward to having each one of you in class. And I hope everybody has a great semester, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you.